PNG Customs calling on border villages for support. Council of Public Sector Unions rejects health plan. And another burglary sees St. Mary's Vunapope scaling down operations.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. The PNG Customs Service is appealing to people in Vunapope to report any illegal activities they see happening along the PNG-Indonesia border. Border Management Director Vunapope says illegal activities are happening on a daily basis between Vunapope and Jayapura, and he is calling for communities and individuals to help PNG Customs do their job.
Following the capture of a boat smuggling goods from Indonesia into Vunapope last Thursday, the PNG Customs Service is appealing for more cooperation from border villages to report such activities. Border Management Director Vunapope says as more developments take place along the border, illegal activities will also increase. And he appealed to border villages to support PNG Customs.
If any member of the community sees anything that is fishy, anything that is not right, that's involving a customs officer or any outsider, any new person you see, any person that should not be in that place, but at the wrong place, at the wrong time, please report that incident or report that person to customs.
Mr. Mabone is encouraging people to contact the PNG Customs hotline when they see any illegal activities.
Please cooperate with customs officers, and we look after our borders, our communities, our people, and above all, the safety and the health of our communities, our younger generation especially.
Meanwhile, the smugglers, believed to be from Wamena in the West Papua province of Jayapura, will be charged for illegal port entry and tax evasion under the Customs Act. A fine of 2,000 kina is expected to be paid, or they will face jail time sentence of 5 to 10 years. Their goods, including the boat and outboard motor, have since been confiscated by PNG Customs. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
A week-long customs border awareness program ended successfully last Friday in Vunapope. As part of new policies and systems within the PNG Customs Service, the program targeted villages in Vunapope to prepare them for these changes and also the opening of the first land border between PNG and Indonesia.
A team from the Compliance and Procedure Division of the PNG Customs Service was in Vunapope last week to start the first leg of a nationwide border awareness program. The program aimed at educating border provinces on new developments and policies within PNG Customs started in Vunapope town and ended at Wutung village last Friday. It was well received by schools and communities as it was an opportunity for them to discuss firsthand issues surrounding the use of the PNG-Indonesia border.
Before we impose any new concepts, any new systems, procedures, anywhere in any port within the country, Customs is always there to do awareness. In this case, the impacted communities along the Wutung land border, so they are aware of these changes.
Part of new developments, PNG Customs will roll out a new land border trade and passenger policy. This includes a new clearance and accounting system that will be used at all border ports and entries in the country. This plus the opening of the first land border between PNG and Indonesia were captured under the awareness program.
And when it's opened, customs systems and processes should be already in place. Our officers have been trained last year under what we are introducing our land border trade and passenger policy, the supermarket approach. Under that policy, we have specific passenger processing and cargo movement, cargo management.
Western and the autonomous region of Bougainville are the next border ports for the awareness campaign. This will lead up to the opening of the Wutung land border facility in June, plus the declaration of a new international port in Buin, South Bougainville. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
The Council of Public Sector Unions, COPSU, has rejected the recently announced Medicare health plan by government, a plan being promoted by PNG Health Assurance. It is instead calling on government to involve the PEA and other unions in discussions to negotiate a better Medicare and life insurance cover for public servants throughout Papua New Guinea. In March this year, the national government announced a partnership with PNG Health Assurance to provide medical insurance for public servants throughout the country under the National Health Insurance Scheme. At the launch of this partnership, the Ministers for Finance and Public Service respectively gave their support for the PHA-led initiative. According to the President of the Public Employees Association and Chairman of the Council of Public Sector Unions, Robert Kutapai, there are existing arrangements that need to be improved, which COPSU is looking into, rather than signing up to the newly established National Insurance Scheme.
Our premiums are managed through the Teachers Welfare Fund. Therefore, our members that contribute towards our welfare fund are covered under the teachers. So we have National Teachers Insurance Limited. Currently, they do provide medical cover, so as life insurance. And we have existing insurance companies here. And that's the way that we're looking at right now.
At its recent meeting, the Council of Public Sector Unions has rejected the National Insurance Scheme put forward by government. COPSU Deputy Chairman Ugwalubu Moana revealed that COPSU had now resolved to discourage its union members from signing up to the PHA-led National Insurance Scheme.
We believe that the current plan has not been properly consulted with the unions, especially with the Public Employees Association and the PNG Teachers Association and all other sister unions. And that is the reason why we're rejecting the current government plan on Medicare.
COPSU have also resolved to have the unions negotiate with the state for improved medical and life insurance cover for public servants throughout Papua New Guinea.
Instead, COPSU has resolved further that the unions in the public sector will negotiate with the government to establish a proper state Medicare scheme and proper state life insurance covers for public servants and teachers throughout the country as a means of social welfare for people and the workers of Papua New Guinea.
With the other public sector unions and DPM on behalf of the state, we would ask the public service in general to refrain from contributing to this medical system that the government has introduced.
At its most recent meeting, the Council of Public Sector Unions resolved to rejoin the Papua New Guinea Trade Union Congress. According to COPSU executives, the decision for this is based on the need to improve the trade union movement in the country. The PEA, one of the major unions within COPSU, had last been affiliated to PNG Trade Union Congress in 2012. However, given differences between union executives at the time, they had ceased their affiliation.
We haven't been affiliated to TUC, but as a center for workers, we see the need to sort this center. That's why my executives have decided that PA should re-affiliate so that we go in as an affiliate and see if we can be able to contribute towards the betterment of TUC to fight for workers' rights within the country.
All the public servants in the country is about 120,000. Of the 120,000, 60,000 of that are teachers. So when we speak, we basically represent not just our union members. We are actually speaking on behalf of the entire workforce of the public sector of the government in this country.
PNG Power Limited has announced that a planned power outage will occur this Wednesday. This is to allow PNG Power workmen to carry out line clearance work in Port Moresby and some parts of Central Province. The power interruptions are expected to occur between 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. The areas that will be affected include 6 Mile, the Magi Highway and areas within Kwikila. The St. Mary's Vunapope Hospital in East New Britain Province has scaled down its operations yet again following a burglary incident over the weekend. Medical Service Director of the hospital, Dr. Felix Diaku, has confirmed the closure, stating it will remain closed for an indefinite period to show their frustration. It is understood the hospital board has met today to discuss a way forward. The outcome of the meeting has not been made public as yet. This is the second time this year that the second largest referral hospital in the province has closed its doors to patients following ongoing theft within the hospital premises. In November last year, a similar occurrence prompted its closure for 3 days. Its closure has affected the entire East New Britain province. Here with National EMTV News this Monday, we'll have more of the day's other stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. An Australian man has been charged for sexual assault in Manus after he was accused of sexually touching a female co-worker. The victim reported the matter to management of the Paladin Security Company, where both were working, but nothing was done to address this. She then reported the matter to Manus Police, and that led to the arrest of 59-year-old Terry Shane Geddes from Woodside in Brisbane. Police have reported that on March the 21st, the victim walked past Geddes, who was in a queue at a dinner party, and he reached out with his left hand and sexually touched her. Geddes' passport was confiscated by police and he appeared before the Lorengau District Court today. A mother of three is among three others reported missing in Port Moresby. 33-year-old Josephine Koimbu from Chimbu Province was last seen between Gordons and 8 Mile last Tuesday. The youngest of the three reported missing is 13-year-old Stanis Kila from Manus Province.
Come tomorrow, it would have been 7 days since the disappearance of Josephine Koimbu. Her husband and 3 children have put up notices of her disappearance on social media, but have not been successful in locating her. A formal police report of her disappearance is yet to be registered with police. On the 27th of March, 13-year-old Stanis Kila from Manus went missing. His family, who resides in Laloki in the Central Province, have checked all their relatives in Port Moresby but have not received a positive word on where Stanis could be. It has been 19 days since Stanis went missing. He was last seen walking towards the Laloki Bridge after a small argument with his mother. Another woman, 48-year-old Magdalene Pikip, who went missing on March 29th, remains missing. She attended the police pass-out at the police college in Bomana but failed to return home that afternoon. Meanwhile, Junior Femin, the 6-year-old boy who went missing at Tokarara, was found after he disappeared for 3 days. He was found at a home near the Kora Freeway, few kilometers from where his family lives. Tekla Gunga, National MTV News.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission has announced new retail fuel prices for this month. From today, motorists will have to dig deeper into their pockets, with prices for petrol, diesel and kerosene all seeing increases. Effective as of today in Port Moresby, petrol prices will increase by 21.43 toya per litre to 3 kina 56 toya per litre. Diesel increases by 7.2 toya per litre to 3 kina 31 toya per litre, and kerosene increases by 5.87 toya per litre to 3 kina 1 toya per litre. For outside centres, prices will increase as follows. Petrol prices increase by 22.55 toya, diesel prices increase by 8.28 toya per litre, and kerosene by 7.05 toya per litre. According to the ICCC, these increases are due to an increase in the crude oil prices and depreciation of the PNG kina against the US dollar, both in March 2019, as well as an increase in domestic sea freight for petroleum products in the second quarter of 2019. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill officially launched the Wapenamanda Rural Electrification Project over the weekend in Enga Province. Wapenamanda is the third electorate in PNG to benefit from the Asia-Pacific Economic Conference Agreement signed last year by 4 countries in Port Moresby. They are the United States of America, Australia, New Zealand and Japan.
More than 5,000 houses in the Wapenamanda electorate in Enga Province will be connected to electricity over the next 2 years. Work has already started, with New Zealand government taking the lead in making funds available for groundwork and surveys to be done.
We commend this government's leadership in putting what's important first, connecting households to power.
Australian High Commissioner to PNG Bruce Davies said, as promised from the APEC signed agreement, the Australian government is committed and will provide 60 million kina each year over the next 4 years as part of their contribution to this partnership. They are also looking at other ways beyond the existing programs to further support PNG. They are looking on infrastructure funds by committing to provide 50% to building public infrastructure with PNG government.
We are very, very committed to joining with Papua New Guinea to fulfil this commitment and to work not only in big cities, but in the most remote areas of the country.
Wapena Manda MP and Foreign Affairs Minister Rimbing Pato, who has been vocal on this project, said the 2018 APEC meeting has paved way for such projects to benefit the rural population. These 4 countries, including PNG, have agreed for the rural electrification project to take place so that by year 2030, at least 70% of the total population should have access to electricity.
Our APK come in one area along Papua New Guinea where big benefit by come. Inside long, you play here long Wapanamanda.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said less than 1 million Papua New Guineans have access to electricity. O'Neill said his government is committed to improving power generation to prevent frequent blackouts and ensure that every household have power to improve their living standards.
To make him source and power, it must come up reliable. It must come up with time so you may not get some blackout close to.
A 30 million kina from this year's budget has already been allocated for work to begin.
One time this now me officially opening this or Tripla project on behalf of the national government and our friends from United States, Australia, Japan and New Zealand. Thank you very much.
Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Hyde's PDL-7 Special Purpose Authority is aiming to carry out its plans and deliver services to people in its constituency. Chairman Andy Hamaga says among concerned issues are the overdue benefits of the LNG project and review of the UBSA and LBBSA. The authority received 1 million kina recently from the state for its administration and operational costs.
In one of its first meetings, members of the Hyde 7 Special Purpose Authority made it known that the entity is being bestowed powers to be a vehicle for change in Hela. Leader Andy Hamaga, who has been at the forefront of the authority, says it is time the entity opened dialogue with development partners to improve level of services in the Hyde's PDL-7 area.
We won't misuse the funds. PDL-7 SBA is trying to be unique. We will spend the money in the project area. We will prove the critics wrong.
Chairman Hamaga added that many outstanding issues remain between the resource owners, state and developer. Through the authority, negotiations are paving way between stakeholders. Hamaga believes the authority will be the mouthpiece for the affected landowners.
After being elected chairman to the board, I have engaged some consultants to review the development plan, which we did in 2014. So the review process is going on, and we have a draft here.
The Hyde 7 is apparently a key section of the PNG LNG project in Hela province. With the clan vetting process concluding with a review soon to be announced, the Hyde 7 Special Purpose Authority is calling on the government to fast-track the process.
Split between the 2 provinces must be done immediately, and then followed by the affected LLGs and SBS in those 2 provinces. So we want that to happen immediately as promised by Minister and Sadri during the closing of the Lobit clan vetting exercise.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Raylance Mesa is a 24-year-old lass from Morbe who has been an advocate in conducting climate change awareness for her local Tami Island community in Morbe province. Using her skills and knowledge in architecture, she has been involved in community projects on the island and was recently named the overall Westpac Outstanding Woman of the Year. On Friday, Miss Mesa graduated from Unitec, attaining the highest award in her graduating class.
After 5 years of studying to pursue her dreams of becoming an architect, 24-year-old Raylance Mesa graduated from Unitec on Friday, attaining her degree in architecture with merit and winning a council medal. An achievement she says she owes to her parents.
It's an honor as well, and I mean, for me personally, with all the awards that I've received, it's not only for me, but it's for like my community, my family, and my parents especially, who have been my greatest supporters in my life.
Miss Mesa was named Sustainable Development Goals Youth Champion for supporting her local Tami Island community in building seawalls and conducting climate change awareness. She went on to represent PNG in the United Nations Economic and Social Council Youth Forum. This year, She was given the IBBM Young Achievers Award and was also named the overall Westpac Outstanding Woman of the Year.
Fun. It's not like I don't have fun. I have fun with friends. I love schooling as well. I spend time with my family, and it's basically a normal life I'm living. It's just that having little time for everything, that's enough.
The 24-year-old comes from East New Britain and Morobe and is the second of 3 children. Her mother Jenny says she is proud that Raylands has used skills taught to her at home to help others.
After she involved herself in community work, she even tried her best in academic work, and she finished at the top. So I'm proud of that.
I may be good in what I do. There's other young people out there who are good in what they do as well. And why not you use it like your passion or what you're good at to help other people as well. And
Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Leh.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll take a look at stories making headlines overseas when we come back. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, fierce clashes near Libya's capital are causing major international concerns as rebel forces advance on the United Nations-backed government. More than 20 people have been killed and dozens injured in exchanges of fire and airstrikes around Tripoli. An army general is leading the attack with mounting fears of an all-out war.
Vehicles jamming the routes in and out of Tripoli. These belong to militias loyal to the Government of National Accord that's backed by the United Nations. And they're rushing to defend the capital. A government spokesman insisted they had slowed the advance of rebel forces.
On this day, the Libyan armed forces declare the launch of the Operation Volcano of Anger to purge all Libyan cities of aggressor and illegitimate forces.
These are the aggressor forces he's talking about, from the so-called Libyan National Army, the loose alliance of armed groups that control much of the east and south of Libya, here preparing for battle at their Benghazi headquarters. Today, as these forces continued to head west, there were clashes south of Tripoli. And there were also reports of airstrikes by both sides. The government said 21 people have been killed and 27 wounded. So why does the crisis in Libya matter? Well, ever since Western forces helped depose Colonel Gaddafi in 2011, Libya has been gripped by violence and political instability. The UN has attempted to broker a political deal between General Haftar and Prime Minister Sarraj, but so far it's failed. And the fear among Western governments is that full-blown civil war could mean Libya once again becomes a source of migration and extremism on Europe's southern flank. Some countries are now acting to protect their nationals. These unverified pictures appear to show the United States evacuating some of its forces by hovercraft. EU foreign ministers will discuss the crisis in Brussels tomorrow, but few expect the fighting to end soon.
Commemorations are taking place in Rwanda to mark the 25th anniversary of the genocide that killed 800,000 people. The country's president, who led a rebel army that ended the fighting, lit a remembrance flame at the Kigali Genocide Memorial, where many of the victims are buried.
This is the light.
A flame to remember and reflect, a quarter of a century after the genocide. The people carrying the flames are all aged 25, too young to remember the mass slaughter.
In 1994, there was no hope, only darkness. Today, light radiates from this place.
Over 100 days in 1994, 800,000 men, women and children were murdered, many by militias armed with machetes. The majority of those killed were from the Tutsi ethnic group. Most of the perpetrators were Hutu extremists. Those who survived the violence were forced to flee. 2 million people became refugees. The country will now mourn for the next 100 days, the time it took for 1 in 10 Rwandans to be murdered 25 years ago.
More details about Prince William's classified mission are now being leaked out. The second in line to the throne has been undercover for 3 weeks to scope out Britain's spies.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Kensington Palace has yet to say how the Duke of Cambridge takes his martinis.
Vodka martini. Shaken, not stirred.
But His Royal Highness has enjoyed an up-close look at Her Majesty's Secret Service for the past 3 weeks, including a week at MI6, the real home of 007. A week at MI5, Britain's domestic counter-terrorist spy team, and he spent a week at the ultra-top-secret GCHQ.
The suit is a modern gentleman's armour. The Kingsman agents are the new knights.
No, that's not the Kingsman, which is completely fictional. So far as we know, GCHQ is Britain's equivalent of the NSA, an agency focused on code breaking and electronic surveillance. GCHQ began with the heroes of Bletchley Park, who cracked the Enigma code during World War II. These days, GCHQ is so top secret, only Friday did officials reveal its old headquarters, a nondescript office block sandwiched between a Starbucks and a pub here in London. Top secret no more, because GCHQ recently moved to fancy new digs, where the future king got a peek at what they do.
He wants to get even more understanding of how the intelligence services work before he is given the level of briefings that he will be given.
A lion tamer attacked during a circus performance has spoken out for the first time. Footage shows one of the big cats scratching and biting the trainer and even leaving a tooth stuck in his body.
This terrifying lion attack captured on camera at a circus in Ukraine. You can hear members of the audience screaming as the giant cat pounces on his trainer. In this video posted by PETA, you see the lion's jaw clamped onto 32-year-old Hamada Kuda's arm, forcing him to the ground.
2 seconds. He is come to me and attack me and catch me.
The trainer left covered in gashes and bite marks, saying he had a tooth still stuck in his muscle, incredibly getting back up and moving towards the lion.
The trainer's life was absolutely in danger. He's very lucky that he survived that. If that lion had gotten the trainer by the neck, it probably would not have ended as well as it did.
Tonight, Kuda is already back in the ring with the same lion just 1 week after this attack.
This is not first time I have attacked. I have so many times. These lions and tigers, for me, is like my sons, like my daughter.
It's like he's...
You're with the National EMTV News. We go for another break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with football, and the PNG men's and women's national football teams are determined to win gold at this year's Pacific Games in Samoa. Both teams have named their train-on squads, with the final 23-member teams to be announced in June.
In the previous Pacific Games, the PNG men's team created history by winning bronze after more than 20 years. The women's team, regarded as the queens of football in the Pacific, displayed their supremacy on the field, going back-to-back, winning gold in the finals against New Caledonia. This year, the women will be out to defend their gold, while the men will be aiming to better their performances from previous games. Laiwaden FC coach Bob Morris has been appointed to lead the men's team, with Harrison Kamake to assist. Frederica Sakete will coach the women's team, assisted by Margaret Aka. The men's first training camp will be held from the 15th to the 24th of April, and the women's on the 29th of April to the 2nd of May. The first men's training camp has been split into two groups, which will see Port Moresby-based players train from the 15th to the 17th of April, while Lae, Madang and Highlands-based players will have theirs from the 22nd to the 24th in Lae. Many of the players have been selected from the Kumul Petroleum National Soccer League and others who play overseas. The final 30 players selected will have a second training camp in Lae from the 20th to the 23rd of May, while the women will have their final training camp in Port Moresby from the 15th to June the 30th before the announcement of the final 23 players. In a lead-up to the Pacific Games, the men's team will play 2 international friendlies scheduled for June. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
The Rugby League and Port Moresby has 3 PNG RFL affiliated competitions: the Port Moresby Rugby Football League, Moresby South Rugby League and the Port Moresby Suburban League. The POM Suburban League was established 8 years ago to give opportunities to the growing interest of rugby league in the city. To date, it has 16 teams in its competition.
The sport of rugby league is a growing sport in the suburbs of Port Moresby. One league that is affiliated to the Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League is the Port Moresby Suburban League, which started 8 years ago. The league facilitates the need for players in the suburbs of Port Moresby to take part in an organised competition. Boasting 16 teams, the league is played in 3 divisions and caters mostly for the Moresby Northwest and Northeast electorate teams and players. The games are played at the Coney Tigers Oval at North Waigani.
Morata, Gero, June Valley, Togarara, NCC, University, Rainbow, Northeast Wildlife, Erima, 9 Mile. Previously, we had a team Borogo, but this year no come.
The league, as a pathway for the growth of the game, has had some success accorded to them, with a player from the competition making it into the SPPNG Hunters this year, the young Jerry Teme. Several other players have made it into the Papua New Guinea National Rugby League competition in various intercity teams.
Jerry Teme, product from Rugby League. We have a lot of players in the DSL Cup sites now. This is a pathway league in Blagat, so we are trying to develop and groom the players here and then send them out to the major level.
But like all leagues in the country, they need support to keep the teams in the competition and are calling on sponsors who can come on board and help in whatever way they can. The competition has had much success with the involvement of the National Capital District Commission as a major partner.
So the business houses will establish. People are asking people can come in and support them kindly because in Port Moresby Southern League, Moresby South League, Port Moresby Rugby League. People are trying to build them up players.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports will continue with more after these messages. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To some rugby union abroad, and All Black star Ben Smith will join an exclusive club on Friday. Smith will play his 150th Super Rugby game, joining just 10 other players to reach the mark across the history of the whole competition. Although his special night will come against the Crusaders in Christchurch, with the Highlanders in a spot of bother.
After 4 close defeats in a row, the Highlanders can't afford too many more.
Of course, they were frustrating, but it's really important, certainly from us as a coaching group, to keep perspective on that.
The reality is the Highlanders have lost those last 4 matches by an average of just 4 points. But added into what is already a crucial week playing the Crusaders in Christchurch, old heads Marty Banks and Richard Buckman are now out with serious injuries.
That's the reality of the competition. We're not the only ones that are thin just at this stage.
One backup option includes big Northland wing Jordan Highland. Just a week or so ago, he was training with the Blues. Highland could join All Black star Ben Smith in the outsides group. Number 150, just days away for Smith after 10 years playing for his beloved Southern outfit.
You guys probably don't get the opportunity to see what we see, what he does off the field. It's usually optimistic. Guy's getting a bit older, but he's always leading out front.
It's a testing week ahead then for the Highlanders as injuries begin to bite and plans to take on the Crusaders take shape.
The plan, we have to probably keep it under wraps for now.
But if any motivation is needed, they'll find it in a special occasion for Ben Smith.
The Trans-Tasman tug-of-war over teenage sprint sensation Eddie Osei-Ngatia is intensifying. Athletics Australia are expected to be meeting with the New Zealand-born runner in the next few days, while Kiwi officials are giving him room to breathe. Those in the know back in New Zealand are blown away by the 17-year-old's talent.
This is the man everyone's talking about.
Nikita's going to do it!
At just 17 years old, Eddie Osei-Ngatia is the fastest man in New Zealand and now also in Australia, after winning their 100-metre crown yesterday. His prospects on the track now suddenly and dramatically skyrocketing.
He's truly deserves the title of freak, because that's exactly what he is.
And Athletics Australia has just picked up on that, set to meet with the teenager this week to try and convince him to join the green and gold as early as next month to compete in the World Relay Champs.
If it was me, I'd be running for Australia. There's a really good crop of sprinters in Australia at the moment, which would make a great relay, which he'd obviously be a part of.
With next year's Olympics a definite possibility, New Zealand athletics aren't ready to let him go just yet, though.
We have made it very clear that we would welcome him into the New Zealand athletics environment. I suppose the other challenge in the background for us is we know he's made it clear, or the family made it clear, that this year he wants to explore rugby as well as athletics.
The 17-year-old's also a tank on the rugby field. After living in Australia for the past 8 years, he moved back here on a scholarship to Wellington's Scots College, pursuing his dream of becoming an All Black.
I know he loves New Zealand very much. He doesn't want to take Australian citizenship. I know that, but anything can happen, if they come up with promises and stuff.
Ngatia Jr.'s due back in the country at the end of this month, when Term 2 begins after Easter. His time here could be fleeting. He's expected to make a decision as early as this week.
And that ends Trukai Sports for this evening. We'll have the weather details for the next 24 hours when we return.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby, rain and showers easing to cloudy periods with a top of 31 degrees. Kerema and Daru, cloudy periods with occasional rain showers. And Alota and Popondetta, rain showers and thunderstorms over the next 24 hours. To the Momasa region, Lake can expect some rain showers and thunderstorms with cloudy periods. Madang, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Cloudy periods with occasional rain showers and thunderstorms for Wewak, and occasional showers and thunderstorms expected in Vunapope. To the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy weather and some showers in Loranga. A few showers and possible thunderstorms for Kavieng. Kokopo and Rabaul can expect cloudy periods and occasional rain showers and thunderstorms for Kimbe, and cloudy periods with a few showers expected in Buka. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabek can expect morning fog clearing to rain showers and possible thunderstorms over the next 24 hours. To look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, waters of Yule Island to Hood Point to Samurai Island to Misima Island to Sudest and Rossel Islands, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerema, Yule Island, and waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, waters of Finchafen through Vites and Dampier Strait to Siasi Island to Long Island, and waters of Long Island to Medang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo, and the northern PNG Indonesian border, waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of East New Britain to West New Britain, and waters of New Ireland to Bougainville, sea 0.5 to 1.5 meters, waters of Samar Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, sea 0.5 to 1.5 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea sees moderate to rough with southeasterly winds at 20 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea sees slight to moderate with clockwise winds at 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Sea sees slight with northwesterly tending clockwise winds at 10 to 15 knots. And the Pacific Ocean sees slight with northwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that has been the news, sport and weather for today, Monday the 8th of April. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.